Good to see you, Neil.
Hello. How are we?
Welcome to Inside Emtek, episode 2.
It's good to be back.
We're going to dive into safety barriers. Last time we talked about construction materials.
Yep.
Before we sort of dive into the specifics, the nitty gritty, it would be helpful for me, hopefully for others, a bit of when you think of what matters most to Emtek,
Yeah.
even maybe what matters most to you in terms of like alignment with core values, how do safety barriers connect with that?
Yeah. I guess, Darin, I've maybe shared this with you or a few members of staff, but I guess my personal take on it is that life is precious. So we want to help support our clients in busy warehouses, factories, production facilities, and protect their people. That's got to be something that is really important to everyone. And it's something that we believe in. We have a busy environment here, as you know, in the warehouse and in the office and lorries and fork trucks. Yeah. So we want to do a great care to our staff, and we believe there's many great companies in Ireland that want to truly do the same. Yeah. So for us, we've had a rich history. Our DNA is woven into barriers of different types and sorts over 30 years in Ireland. Car parks, motorways, roads. But over the last decade, we've really shifted into how can we help the growing demand for workplace safety. Yeah. But the fundamental thread within our DNA is we believe life is so precious. So we want to give our customers a really world-class solution that gives them peace of mind that they know they put in the best safety product that's going to protect their staff. Yeah.
You talked about a couple things there. Highway safety barriers, you said workplace safety, so it'd be interesting to hear more about that. In the last episode, you highlighted a milestone, 30 years, celebrated last year into 31. You've been a big part of those. So in your time, safety barriers have been like in the bread and butter of Emtek for years. How have things changed?
Well, I guess we early on saw a need within the market for, improved safety on motorways and on the carriageways in Ireland. I remember going to school early on with Dad in a trailer with a few lengths of bar in the back, and that's how we grew the journey of Emtek for me personally. I just found this amazing. But I guess what we've seen, particularly in the last 10 years, is we were asked, could you put a bit of that barrier maybe in a factory, a warehouse to protect a walkway or maybe even a piece of the equipment or the building? But I guess we realised early on it maybe wasn't tested for that, or the original design wasn't for, let's say a 3-ton fork truck at 3 or 4 miles an hour compared to maybe a 1-ton vehicle car at 80 mile an hour on the motorway.
Yeah.
Two different really...
It's quite tactical.
Yeah, well...
Yeah.
When you're trying to protect people, when you've got heavy vehicles, you've got a lot of force of energy to try and restrain that safely is tricky. So we've really enjoyed finding the correct solution, like a better way of doing it. And the yellow and black barriers that you see the company involved in today have really been born out of that desire to try and find and bring to the market a really world-class solution that's going to actually be fit for purpose.
Yeah.
So we provide the world's most tested barriers. We're proud that we can stand over that. We have seen them tested, hit repeatedly.
You've seen it tested?
And
what is that like? What is a tested system?
So I've seen crash tests for actual vehicle impacts. They're off in a split second. A car at 70 miles an hour launched into a piece of metal or concrete. The outcome isn't great for the vehicle. It's normally smashed to bits, and the occupant hopefully just about gets out alive. So the systems on highways are right on the edge of what is really feasible to safely guide folk in an accident. Within a workplace or a factory, it's totally different. The speeds are different, the weights are different. You tend to have a lot more people. If you have a factory with 1,000 staff, there's going to be a lot more interaction and likelihood of an impact. So it needs a softer, more absorbing impact that can dissipate that energy in a safer way. And also we don't want total obliteration of the equipment and someone just happens to get out of it alive. Yeah. So these new generation of barriers that we're involved in, they are specifically designed and orientated with bespoke polymers and molecular structures, highly scientific, highly engineered, just for workplaces. And we are excited to be part of that journey. It's great.
And if you took us out of the testing facility, out of the laboratory, thinking, again, maybe similar to like when you talked last time about construction materials, every province, every county in Ireland, could you take us to could we go on a road trip? Could you take us like to a virtual, here's a site, here's what you would see in this place, this tested system, you would see this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And this is what it's doing to make a safer workplace.
Yeah. I mean, I think, Darin, what it says, we've identified and seen in the last decade probably 3 key areas that the people are looking for help with. The first one is walkways. So I'm thinking of a packaging company that we've helped recently, and they have got hundreds of staff that need to navigate their way around a very, very busy production facility. So by putting a segregated physical barrier, not just painting a walkway, but actually putting a barrier that can resist the fork truck impact, allow the barrier to reform again repeatedly, but protecting the member staff is a really crucial piece of work that we are seeing happening regularly. So the particular packaging firm I'm thinking of, they then realise, well, we've got crossing points. So how are we going to protect people that they don't get hit by a truck and a roller shutter door? So we were able to then provide some gates that create a bit of a stop and a pause before you walk out. Really simple solutions, but they're saving lives. And the third thing we've noticed is at a lot of the structures, the equipment, to protect those from getting impacts, because it's very expensive to repair a high-speed roller shutter or a piece of flashing or maybe a $500,000 machine that you've installed. So putting in big, heavy impact, robust bollards, you can hit 100 times a day if you need to.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
So those are 3 things that I find are helpful. And I can think of many applications in Ireland where those have been a successful solution to helping those customers create a safer workplace.
And I'm curious, it seems, if I'm hearing correctly, the unique proposition we're saying is this is tested.
Yeah.
It's verified, independently tested. Is that to say there are non-tested systems? Like if someone's listening in, their facilities manager, their health and safety manager, when you described lorries, pedestrian traffic, like wanting the safe flow of movement of people and vehicles around their facility, they're saying, yes, that's a concern of mine, but why Emtek? Why Emtek's barriers?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. Historically, what would have happened is maybe, hey, listen, I know a guy can manufacture some at a box section, we'll paint it yellow, we'll bolt it down. And that probably was a solution that most people went to, or maybe get a bit of Armco barrier, which we might have offered.
Yeah.
But I guess what we've seen more recently, and there's some new standards that have come into play, were how do we know that's going to perform under the impact of a fork truck or a workplace vehicle? We can't really give certainty to the customer, and they don't know themselves. It might look nice and shiny, but what we've seen is most don't actually perform. So there's an even bigger risk on the employers now where they maybe haven't got a correctly tested system. So we want to help the customer sleep well at night, peace of mind, and why should they not have the assurance that the product that they're being given is designed for their application? It's an engineered solution. We've gone and checked the weight of the fork truck, we've checked the speed it's going to hit, we've checked the angle of impact, we've been on the site, we've understood what they're dealing with, and the number of staff, the number of vehicles, and created a tailored solution that we can stand over, that we know has been third party tested. And that's quite a powerful exercise, because people are in a space where they want to know, and I believe many resonate that life is precious, that they want to provide a safe workplace for their staff. So it's an important issue. So maybe what I'd say is there's a better way now available. Maybe in the past people did the very best, and that's I commend it. what I'd say now is there's innovation in the market, and part of Emtek's kind of pioneering entrepreneurial DNA is to want to really strive for what is the best we can offer our customers. We want to be long-term partners with our clients. Yeah. You know, we're here for the long haul. We've chatted, we're 30, 31 years around. We want to keep offering clients a really excellent product, Darin, you know.
And is there help as I'm hearing you're talking, someone may be listening thinking, well, yeah, you guys, they're tested, fair enough, but is there any other guidance out there, guidance that would note, here's the barriers you need on your facility, unique to your requirements. Here's some specifications. Yeah. Here's like some industry guidance. Yeah. In this whole world of workplace safety barriers.
Yeah. Well, Darin, we are honored to partner with the world's leading workplace barrier designers, and they, in conjunction with health and safety industries around the world and industry bodies, have been able to identify and create what is known as PAS 13. It's an industry guideline. It's a code of practice for workplace safety barriers. And it really sets out a framework and a context of how you should design, layout, install, design and crash test, even produce barriers that can perform. What I would say is interesting here is that most testing that I've seen in my 30 years, you go back to highways, you look at bridges, and even within the workplace, you might have done 100 tests and got one that worked. That got you the certificate. Almost on the limit of the technical and the engineering performance was stressed to get you an approval. And it's what I've seen. Yeah. I've been at crash test sites around the UK and Ireland. What's different now is that we are able to continually, repeatedly hit the barriers in a controlled environment. And if you are protecting people, you want to know it will work again a minute later or an hour later. Or if someone hit something on a night shift and the next day comes in, no one's said anything, you want to know the barrier will still perform. So what excites me, what interests me, Darin, is that we're able to provide bollards, barriers, solutions that can be repeatedly impacted and reform again. It's an incredible technological advance to think that can happen. So the engineering and the science, the continual testing, the learning and the inputting again, the feedback to re-engineer and hone that to make it better all the time, which is what our partners do so well with us, allows us to say to clients, we can help you create a safer workplace. We believe, like you do, that life is precious. So we find it, and I personally find it hugely rewarding that we can kind of partner up with some of Ireland's biggest companies. Yeah. So it's hugely exciting time.
And with those biggest companies in Ireland, and Ireland is home to global companies. Yeah. You know, you mentioned a packaging company. Where else might we see these tested, fantastic yellow polymer barriers?
We're across really every industry sector now, and that's taken a number of years to really be to be known in that area, and we still enjoy reaching out to new clients every week. But if you think about the food that you eat, the tin of beverage in your fridge, the parcels that get delivered to your home or to your office, the packaging that makes it happen, the medication or drugs that you may have to take for a health issue. We are working with Ireland's leading companies. These are global companies based in Ireland. Many are also indigenous companies that have been here for 30, 40, 50 years or longer. But we are privileged to work across basically the critical infrastructure of our nation. That is producing food, drinks, medications, manufactured products, components, packaging. Like, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes in little warehouses and factories and towns that are outside of where the beaten track is, major urban areas that are producing incredible products. But the one thing I've found is that they have the same common challenge. It's how do they safely protect their people, their buildings and their equipment.
Yeah.
So we have found it really exciting, really rewarding to be able to journey with them, to literally hands-on, boots in the ground, walk the sites with them, speak to their staff, do a survey of the site, produce calculated systems. Installation is done to the highest possible standard, that they can walk away with us and go, we have helped you create a safer workplace. Like, that excites me, Darin.
Yeah. Say a bit more on the survey. How does someone, I'm thinking if someone's listening.
We get CAD drawings regularly, but we believe, as part of how we've operated for 30 years, is if we can get alongside the client physically on the site, that may be a new build, but many sites existing that have an interest in enhancing their safe practices.
Okay. Yeah.
We love getting in to chat to the engineers, the operators, the fork truck drivers, but it gives us an approach and an ability to physically survey the site, to measure out the sections that they have identified. We may notice a few areas that we feel like, what about this? Have you considered that? And it gives us an opportunity to really kind of live in their space for a few hours and really understand their unique challenge. So again, if you can appreciate, every factory, every facility, every warehouse, it is slightly different than others.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a common challenge they're trying to resolve, but there's always little quirks and ways of working that we get a much better insight. And I believe, Darin, our job as a business to really help, if we can understand better the customer's challenge or their issue, and if we can kind of sit in their space with them for a while and see it and listen to it and observe it, then we're far better placed to provide the best, optimal, correct, excellent solution. That takes a bit of time. We cover a lot of miles. We have an amazing team that are so dedicated to this. But when life is so precious, why would you not want to go and do that extra bit of work to really support them? And the feedback and the sort of response we get from many of our clients, they see a great benefit to that level of service. And I believe, Darin, we're in a time where, look, the world's changing, evolving. There's tariffs, there's uncertainty, there's challenges. We feel we can bring some measure of support, a level of peace of mind, maybe some assistance to help that company in one small area.
Yeah.
But we feel we can be diligent, we can serve them well, and we want to come and support more companies like that. So we're always there, available to drive to Cork or drive to Limavady, drive to Waterford, to Dublin, Belfast, Athlone. I mean, it goes on and on.
Yeah.
We enjoy that. It's part of being in the cut and thrust of modern business.
So if someone's listening or watching and they're thinking, as I might hope they are, sounds great.
Yeah.
Phrases that might stand out are Ireland's leading companies, trusted partner with them, world's most tested barrier. Someone might like, oof, that must come with a price tag. Or I honestly don't know if I'm one of Ireland's leading companies. I've got a warehouse. I've got some roller shutters. I really am tired of fork truck driver hitting it or delivery or just, I do want a trusted solution. But I'm just looking for a couple bollards or I've got a small walkway. It is not a mega site. But I do want to safely guide the 5 people I have on staff from the 2 fork trucks I have. Or like I've got some budget. Can I do some things? And then you come back and help me do more things? Or like, I'm just wondering, like, the getting the ball rolling. And
no, it's a great question. What I would say is that most of our customer journeys have begun with a small project. Maybe there's been a desire to sort the whole site, but what we have found is we prefer to do small sections of work for any size of enterprise in the country. We feel that we partner best with those companies that really want to see a meaningful change. So we're competitive. we work to a very high standard. But what I would say is we're offering a really excellent solution that we feel we can stand over and sleep well at night. So it might be a couple of bollards, it might be a small run of barrier on a walkway, it might be a few gates. But what we've seen over time is that most of those client sites go, that has worked so well. Next year, could you do this a little bit? Or we've invested in a new machine, would you maybe help us protect it? Racking needs protected. We do a lot of work with cold storage, refrigeration, clean rooms for manufacturing, and like all of those bits of the building infrastructure, if you hit those, that's a very high cost or maybe downtime in production or capability. Even the poor old fork truck can get a fair tough old day, and having a barrier that will more softly absorb those impact strikes compared to the traditional metal systems, your truck has a better life. Again, it reduces some of the costs on maintenance and repair. And really, Darin, what we're about is helping to see the client site run efficiently, run smoothly, and really run safely. That's part of what we like to do.
Yeah, brilliant. As we maybe bring episode 2 to a close, I kind of leave it open. Is there any sort of again, I just want to reiterate this, or I want people to know this, or it meant a lot when a customer said this. Maybe just a last thought as we think about Emtek, safety barriers, helping to create safer workplaces.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was on a site probably in the last year or so, Darin, where it had a major incident. Person was badly injured, and it really hit home to me. Again, I've said this before about just how precious life is. I shared that with a few of the delegates at a conference we spoke at last year with the Safety Council. And, it's one thing to say it, but when you see a production line or a part of a warehouse that's been put on stop, closed, shut down completely, and a poor guy there is badly injured, we want to help avoid those things happening in the first place. So we do believe that we are in a position to really make a difference in the industry, Darin. And, we're there to compete, and we want to do well as a company, we want our customers to do well, but we have great solutions that can offer meaningful help, and Emtek wants to make a difference. We want to be a good participant in the marketplace. We want to give excellence, we want to be professional, and we want to show kindness in how we operate. We want to see people protected. We want to see workplaces that are safe. And we do find it a real honour that we get to partner and help in some small way make that happen across Ireland. So putting in things like a segregated walkway with a proper tested barrier, that would be the big takeaway for today. If you can supplement that with proper swing gates, stops people walking out maybe on their phone or not thinking. And also if you can put in maybe some bollards or ways of protecting your core structures and machines within the building, those are great ways of creating a safer workplace and reinvesting, showing your staff that you have a high value of what they do. So I hope that's helpful. It's been
helpful.
Great to chat through it today. And we're here to serve the market well. So we're in the business of meeting and chatting to customers anywhere in Ireland. Just contact us, ring us. There's details on our website. I love writing about some of these things, so we've put a lot of content, some guides on our website, and they're free. We want to share the knowledge. We've been in this game a long time. We're learning all the time, but I feel we have a kind of a duty to share what we've learned. If we can help people, then I feel that's a good thing to be doing, and something we find rewarding as well. So we hope that's helpful.
Thanks, Neil.
Thanks, Darin.
Yeah, we should do this again.
Episode 3.
Episode 3? Oh.